So I'm about to go in the mall and do a little bit of shopping. It is the last day of July, if you can believe that. Um, and for me, it's a milestone because now that we're through July, that means I have gone a whole year having been divorced. So, not talking about separation, none of that. The final divorce, it's been a whole year. And so I have some tips, some things that I have learned or recognized over the past year. And I wrote it out in a little list so I can share it with you. So, number one, do not ever underestimate the feeling of peace. The feeling of a calm nervous system when you have finally stopped fighting and finally let go of what has been stressing you out or causing you to be anxious or to worry. The feeling of a calm nervous system and just being at peace, being okay day in and day out cannot be understated. It is huge, and I had to learn that, and I'm happy that I did. Number two, closure is something that you give yourself. And a lot of people are figuring this out. Oftentimes when things end, we want to talk to the person, or we want to belabor it, or we want to, know the exact reason, and you can't know the exact reason. And so if it's closure that you're seeking, I encourage you to give it to yourself. You can provide yourself with closure. And the way you do that is you can use the other person's behavior. Don't think about what words you want to hear, but look at their actions and let that be the closure that you need. And then begin to move on with your life. Number three is grief. Grief has stages, and there are so many layers to it. It has a lot of stages because, sometimes you can be up and you can be down. You can think you're progressing, and then you find out that, hey, you were back at square one. And then also when a marriage ends, there's so many different things that you're grieving. You might be grieving your future, what you thought you were going to have. And for me, a lot of the grief has been really for my kids, like just watching them struggle, to be honest, at sometimes to deal with the emotions and just the tiniest things. And so that can be hard, and you have to allow yourself that time to process it and not stop it, not shut it down. For me, it was good when I was finally alone, like when the kids were all back in school and my ex-husband had already moved out. It was good for me because then I could fall apart like I needed to. I didn't feel like I needed to, keep myself together because other people were depending on me. And so take all the time that you need to process the grief. The fourth thing is having your own money. Having your own money is important, having a job. If the Lord had not provided for me, I don't know where I would be, because I was in between jobs when everything went down. When he said he didn't want to be married, I was freelancing because I had been on a contract for like a year and a half, and I was looking for something full time. And if it hadn't been for the Lord stepping in, and also me having already, started to build my retirement, a lot of those things would have really gotten messed up, and I could be in a bad situation financially, which is what happens to a lot of women. Men think that women come in and swoop down and take half or whatever, and that's the whole MO, and it's a game. But a lot of times women do end up in worse situations financially because we do not always make as much money or more than men. Yes, some of us do, but not always. And then like me, I took 10 years off and I was a stay-at-home mom. And so all of that plays a big role. Where are we? Number five, you can't rush forgiveness. Forgiveness takes time. And so even when you make the decision that you are not going to be, vengeful, you're not going to go after the person, you're not going to do even the slightest bit of payback, you're going to try to stop wishing hateful things, that kind of stuff. Forgiveness takes time, and it takes time for itself too. I feel like, sometimes we do think we can give forgiveness to someone else a little bit easier than we can ourselves. And it is hard to let go of the fact that you did make decisions that, I won't say that I was complacent or, I just allowed things to happen, but there were definitely red flags and things that I could have done to help myself. And so you have to take ownership, and it can be hard. So forgiveness also takes time. Just because you make a decision to forgive does not mean it's going to happen immediately. Give yourself all the time that you need. Number 6, a good lawyer was definitely worth it. I can't say that enough. It's if I didn't have a good lawyer, I wouldn't have had a separation agreement that I had. I wouldn't have had the things in place for myself, for my children. I just wouldn't have known what to do. And there's so many legal things and legal speak that I did not understand. And so having a good lawyer was key to me coming through my divorce successfully. Number 7, being alone is good. It's good for everybody. Whether it's before you get into a relationship or after, like with me now. Being alone does something for the soul. It does something for the mind. It does something for your self-confidence. Everybody needs to experience being on their own for some time, especially before you get into a relationship. But it can affirm you as well. It can let you know that, hey, you can take care of yourself. You can be okay. And it's not that I had a doubt about that, but I also do have children. So it wasn't just me that I would have to take care of, but being able to do that without, like, their father there, and the shared duties that we had. So everybody should be on their own, and it does feel amazing when you can keep your own company and enjoy just the quiet and the space. Number 8, sometimes people have their own wounds and their own things that they need to heal, and you have to allow them to do that. You just have to allow them to do that, because you're not going to know. And sometimes you may not see it or may not be able to understand what's going on because they only let on so much, or they won't share it with you. But people do have their own stuff going on, and sometimes you may think they're running from you or you are not enough, when some of the time it is their own ish that they have to deal with, and there's nothing you can do except move out of the way and allow it to happen. So number 9, do not settle. Hold your boundaries. Red flags, red flags, red flags. And hindsight is 20/20. Now that I am a year out and 25, 26 years away from getting married, and 30 plus years from when I first met this dude, there are so many things that I can look back and I could be like, that was God, or that was a sign. And I just kind of was young and dumb and not really close to God and doing my own thing. So all of that can come back to mind fresh when you are healing and when you are going through the aftermath. And so hold your boundaries. Do not settle. Allow God to pick for you. Go to God and ask, is this the person for me? Have that relationship with him so you can hear from him, because it makes all the difference. And I wish that I had. I have that now, and I will be waiting on him. And number 10, sometimes God seems like he turns your life upside down and you don't understand, but all you really have to do is trust him. Because although this was heartbreaking for me to go through, the place that I am in now, where I feel better than I've ever been, I'm happier than I've ever been, I am thriving, and my relationship with Christ is stronger than it's ever been. I don't think I would have gotten to this place without what I went through. So I'm not a person that's going to tell you, you absolutely have to go through something to grow, or you absolutely got to, suffer in order to get here. I don't know how God does what he does, but I know what he has done in my life. And so, yes, sometimes you go through adversity so that you can be strengthened. Sometimes you go through it, and if you learn the lessons right, you will be encouraged and you will come out better on the other side. And number 11, I'm going to give you as a bonus. The love that I thought I was seeking is what God showed me by pulling me through this divorce. He loves me more than anybody on earth. His love is unmatched. There is no love that will top his love. Just because of the way he has provided and taken care of me. Just because the way he made sure I was good. He made sure I was better than good. Just because of the way he showed me that there's nobody on earth, there's no human love that is going to come close to what he has for me. And maybe that's what I thought would happen romantically. Maybe that's what I thought would happen with a marriage. But there is no love that can top God's love for me. So now I have felt the ultimate. What y'all gonna do with me? That simply means that I'm not out here looking for anybody to complete me. I'm not out here looking for someone to validate me. I have learned so much about how the Lord loves me that it doesn't mean that I think I'm better than anybody. It's just that I know now that I am cherished. I know that I don't have to, accept anything. I know that I don't have to be with somebody else because I am whole all on my own just because of how his love has affected my life. And so those are the things I have learned over a year of being divorced. Hey, I mean, there's more to learn, I'm sure, but I think this is a very good start.